understanding your habits and how they affect your clutter. Okay, so this is a very big topic, and what I'm going to do in this episode is break down the steps for creating new habits that will help reduce clutter. Okay, so a habit is not good or bad, it just is. And so sometimes these habits turn into unhealthy habits because they're creating more clutter for us. So here is probably my favorite example. When you come home and like you get the mail and you set it on the counter, and then the kids come home and then they pile their papers on top, and then you might get a package and it goes on top of that on the kitchen counter, and then it comes time to make dinner and you have no counter space because it's cluttered with too much stuff. Those actions that you took and the kids took prior to cooking are all, to you right now, unhealthy habits because they are creating clutter and stress. So to change those habits, we first have to identify what the trigger is that makes that habit a habit. And so what we need to do is identify, like, okay, when you come home, you have your spot to put the mail, but does it have a designated spot? Do the kids know exactly where to put their papers? Is there a time prior to dinner that you can like sort through or sift through the countertop? Can a child go through and like clear off the countertop? Like, what are things that are happening? What triggers happen? And then what actionable steps are possible in order to change that trigger? So it really is like such an interesting concept because we just think, well, but the mail's always gone there. It just reminds me of this episode of Friends where Joey moves out and Eddie moves in, and Joey's like, but the mail's always been here, and Chandler's like, but Eddie likes it here. And Joey gets like visually upset about it because he changed something that really is not that big of a deal, but it is a change that then shifts where things go, and then it could possibly have helped Chandler and Eddie like not have clutter. Maybe it did, I don't know. But to me, like, looking at all of those small things as triggers to your habit is really going to change how you kind of like create some new and for you healthier habits. So when you identify kind of like those triggers and come up with some actionable steps, there might also be some emotional attachment to it. Now, the mail going there obviously might not be that emotional, but to Joey and Friends, it was. So there could be an emotional attachment about like, well, this is how it's always been, and so you feel comforted by that. But acknowledging the emotional component to some of the habits that you are deeming unhealthy at this moment could benefit you to identify those so that you can change your habit to be something that you consider healthier for yourself and for your mental state. And then when you do all of this is like to me, I found this so fascinating because once you do all of those things, then to change the habit, you have to create a reward for yourself. So you have to set some sort of like new thing to like reward yourself for. So I'm going to use the counter example again. Okay. So you come home from work and you just drop everything on the counter. Why do you do that? Well, because you don't have anything for it to go anywhere else on your way to the kitchen. Because let's say you come into the kitchen, maybe you come in, through a small entryway. Maybe you just don't have any other space for your stuff. So that's where it goes. So that is your initial habit trigger. You want to remove the things from your hand. Then the kids come home and they do the exact same thing, which could be for you an emotional response because it is starting to, what is bothering you, but you are setting that example for them because that's where you're putting all the stuff. So then that's where they put their stuff. And then maybe somebody else in the house comes in and does the exact same thing because that's been the flow. So the emotional response to that is just, well, I don't have the space for something to go anywhere else. So then now you need to set up a reward for yourself to change that from like all over the countertop to a designated spot in your home. That could be like even like a tray or a bin or something like near the door where just everything can drop in there. Laundry basket. I do like laundry baskets as drop zones because they're really easy. You can find them in all different sizes, and then drop your stuff in that so that it doesn't end up on the counter, so that you don't end up angry about all the stuff and you're not able to cook dinner when everyone is melting down. And so the reward for you then is a clean counter. And so if that's like your end goal, that's your reward. You have a clean counter that you didn't have to do, you didn't have to take care of, then that's your reward. And so setting up these systems for creating habits that are going to reduce clutter is going to help so much. It's going to help your mental state. It's going to help your home. It's just going to help how everyone functions. And so to do a lot of these things, it makes the most sense to write down all the steps, because when you change something, it works well for your brain to see step-by-step action. So that is what I want you to do. Share in the comments how you have changed changed a habit or if you need help changing a habit.